I've been seeing a lot of those PlayStation 1 styled like texturing videos recently, and for the most part, they're okay. But there's a few steps they seem to miss when making accurate PlayStation 1 textures. First things first, we have a real texture atlas from Spyro the Dragon, and you can see it actually looks pretty good. Like these textures, they are high quality. They didn't, just find a PNG like I did and just, scale it down. They put effort and made these look good, especially up close, because the PlayStation 1 did not have any texture filtering. This system basically just drew straight up pixels on the quads, or triangles, or whatever the hell they're called. A lot of games used quads, but they were technically just triangles under the hood. Anyways, you can also note that this, at least for this game, they had quite a bit of RGB noise in the texture. So like, for example, this texture is obviously green, but you zoom in, like you get like some random like purple and, basically random colors, right? Noise. Now, one thing you'll also note is that this is quite colorful. This has quite a bit of color for a PlayStation 1 game. Technically, no. This is quite standard, actually, for a PlayStation 1 game. Because, as long as you know the hardware, is actually quite capable of drawing plenty of colors. And now, one last thing you might notice is that they're all in a grid. All of these textures fit in the grid, and they're all the exact same size. Even, like, the thing for the tree roots, even the one for the tree trunk itself, it's all the same size. So, let's prove that this is colorful, right? Let's load this up. We got the image already. Now let's go to image, mode, indexed, and we're gonna just decimate it down to 16 colors. Convert. It looks somewhat the same. We paste it over. It, honest to God, looks okay. Maybe not the same, but the point is, it doesn't look half bad, especially from a distance. You probably wouldn't notice that. However, it's very crusty, and let's say the player's on the roof. I'm not sure if they would, because I haven't played the game. You would definitely be able to count those pixels. That looks like garbage. Nobody would like that, and I don't think anybody would buy your game if your single roof texture looked like this. Anyways, this is much better. My eyes are no longer bleeding. So, how do we replicate this? How do we make our own textures, follow the same style? Oh yeah, that's another correction. The PlayStation 1 didn't technically have any style. It was just limitations imposed upon both the 3D modeling and texturing. And those, in the styles that were born from that, were to get around those limits. That's a better way to put it. So you can make whatever style you want on the PlayStation. However, it just falls into these limits to technically make it a PlayStation 1 style. Okay, so it's getting confusing because nowadays games made in like Godot are using the word PS1 style and yada yada. It's just PS1 limitations. Anyways, I got a dirt texture that it's already compressed. I'm gonna undo it just for the sake of this. And this is a quite high res, and I'm noticing that I didn't make this image. I'm noticing that there's some cutouts. I'm pretty sure there were some rocks in here somewhere and got some weird blur, but I don't really care. This is not gonna be seen. So the first step, go to image, the scale image, and you want to set this to 64 by 64. Especially if you're making terrain, this is perfect. For quality interpolation, I recommend you leave it on linear. You can use whatever you want. Just remember, if you do none, it'll make it a lot less smooth, if that makes any sense. Anyhow, scale it down. Nice, we got our pile of shit. That's our image, right? That's our texture. Looks like garbage still. How do we fix this? Well, we want to go to filter. We want to go to blur, Gaussian blur, and I already have a preset. You want to set it to 0.65. You can do lower, you can do higher. I wouldn't really recommend going above 1, because then it just starts, just fading away. And now you want abyss policy to set to clamp. You can even see, you can even use the slider if you want, because it's not, the opacity doesn't matter right now. So I'm just going to leave it at max, hit OK, and now we're starting to get somewhere. It looks pretty cool. But now, let's take this, let's put in our atlas, and that's the other thing. You want to make an atlas. You want to do new 256 by 256. I already have one, same size as that. And boom, so we have our image, and you might notice something. If I don't click on the image twice, Dang, that does not look the same as the one that's already there, even though it supposedly is the same texture. Now, there's a way to fix this. You want to go to... this is also optional as well, by the way. This is only if you need the texture to be tileable. You want to go to Filters, Map, Tile Seamless is above Fractal Trace. Boom. There's also this. I don't know what it does. I don't really care. You can do it in here, or you can do it in here. Works the exact same way. We can repeat that. As long as it's highlighted in this atlas. If you, for example, if I unclick and then I repeat, suddenly we got 2 troll faces and 2 Minecraft screenshots. I wouldn't recommend that. I can't redo all the way back, so we'll actually use this quick and easy backup. Nice. As God intended. Okay, so you might be thinking, okay, so we got a bunch of basically just resized images. What next? Well, let's go to filters, and this is where the magic happens. I like this. We go to noise, we go to RGB noise, and it looks like garbage again. Oh no, my eyes are having a stroke. Nice. You want to hit this correlated noise button. Just click that. All your troubles go away. Except if you're looking at the sky over here, now it's looking like one of those like broken TV antennas kind of thing above. You want to play with this opacity slider to fix that. In fact, actually, I want to see what this does. Ooh, don't do that. You want to play with this opacity slider. You want it just barely visible. This is mainly recommended for like images that aren't meant to be like a screenshot. Like for this, I'd put this like on a painting 3D model or something, right? In the game, right? You would probably not want to apply this effect to those. So you could actually, so let's say I don't want to do that. Go back to the original texture. We can do this on a texture by texture basis, and now, boom, that looking like Spyro the Dragon already. Put that in. Don't click it again like me. I'm a big dumb idiot. All right, boom. Awesome. Night and day. Hardly noticeable, but it's just those small touches that add like that authenticity to it. And I will say that probably this like color noise probably either came from whatever toolkit they were using to compress the images, or they added it as a form of dithering to help make the textures look cooler. Whatever the case, I showed you guys how to add that. Now this is the final thing. This is a little complicated, but the PlayStation had this weird like texture page system for VRAM. It had a total of 32 pages for this. And what is a page? Well, basically a page is one 256 squared texture atlas. You can hold up to 32 of those in VRAM at once. That's pretty cool, right? However, in this current state, you can only hold 8, if I'm correct. Let me just load up KCalc. There we go. We do 32 divided by 4, because a 16-bit image, this is 16 bits because it has a crap ton of colors. Nothing has been dithered yet, or whatever the word is. So you can only hold 8 of these images, because each of these use 4. If you were to reduce the colors in half, it would only use 2, and then half again. Then you can use only 1 page, and thus the full 32 thingamabobs. But now, this is the issue. So we want to go to Image, Mode, Indexed, and this is going to set this to 4-bit color, which has 16 individual unique colors. And color dithering, you can leave that on or off. I'm not going to. Now it looks like a Game Boy game. This looks like garbage, but this would be perfect for games, sorry, not games, for textures that might not be in the player's view. This is good for high-res images. This is good for, like I just said, like graphics that don't really matter. The point is that though this only takes up 1 page, but it looks like garbage. So maybe don't use this for your main textures. And I also do want to show you the same exact thing, but with dithering. It looks a little bit better, especially the image. Like if you're making like a secret in your game that nobody will find, and you still want to keep it within the PlayStation 1 limits, this is a good idea storing high-res textures, because this, like I said, only uses 1 page. So let's undo this. Now let's go back to Mode, Index. Now we want to set this to 256. We can keep the dithering on. And wow, That looks really good. Like, that doesn't really look much different. You can kind of tell there's a little bit of dithering, right? Right. Like, especially this really does look like a texture from Spyro the Dragon. This looks pretty good. I like this. However, now this is using 2 pages because we got double the amount of colors. It's a whole nerd thing. I'm not going to go into too much detail. Anyways, if you want to use 16-bit color, you just don't do this step. You just skip it, and you just use whatever this is. Right now it says at the top of the screen, RGB color, 8-bit gamma, integer. I don't know what that means, but you can actually go to precision and just set it to 16. I might want to set it to linear light. Don't do that. Let's go back. Let's just keep it as it was or whatever. Boom. That's PlayStation 1 16-bit color mode. Probably not. I'm probably wrong with this one because I didn't really read too much into 16-bit color for the PlayStation 1. I'm going to link a really good documentation though on the texturing for PlayStation 1 games. Anyhow, I'm pretty happy with that lovely 256 colors, right? That looks really good. Like, nobody's gonna care if, you got a few extra pixels here that are dithered. What they're gonna be like, dang, this guy literally put a picture of Minecraft on a console from 1993. That's epic, right? And for the most part, that is all this tutorial is about. This is basically done. There's nothing new to learn here. You can click off right now. But I am going to go into a little bit more detail for those who want to see. So this would be the equivalent of 16-bit color mode on the PlayStation 1, if I am correct. Somebody please correct me. I just found this on Google, 16-bit. Either way, it's rendering as 8-bit gamma on my monitor or whatever. This looks really good. But now let's say we do deprecate this down to 256 colors like we did do with that Atlas just a second ago. You can see there's quite a bit of dithering and a lot of colors have been lost. And the dithering is there to help prevent color banding. But this just gives a more visual representation on how many colors you actually are losing. And now we go back to, let's go down to 4-bit. This is 16 colors. It looks really bad. Like I said, don't use this for, I don't know, any main or important graphics unless you need to have a lot of textures in VRAM. This is garbage. Don't use this ever. So yeah, that was a quick nerd out session. And then I just really like these leaves. And I actually want to do what's it called? Enhance. It's called noise reduction, and you can see what it might have looked like with all that RGB noise. Not bad, honestly. I probably wouldn't want to play the game with this, though. Already did halfway. I did more strength. Pretty neat. Well, yeah, like I said, this was the end of the video. I don't know why you're watching this far. Maybe you just want to see what I'm doing in secret, but whatever. I am going to make another video maybe soon, maybe in another month. I'm not entirely sure. On more PlayStation 1 graphics stuff. Alright. That is the end of this video. Bye-bye.